It's about to get diplomatic. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Here's my part 2 of Star Wars Outlaws. So, before going into this one, if you haven't seen part 1, guys, I'm going to leave the link in the description box down below. If not, there'll be a pop-up on the video so you guys can go and check out part 1 and see what I said about the mocap and the voice actress and stuff like that. Obviously, I will be going into a bit more detail about what I said in part 1, but go and see part 1, just check it out, just so you guys are in the loop. But yeah, let's continue. So guys, I've got a few topics that I've been wanting to discuss. I felt like I didn't speak about enough things in part 1, so now I made some time to talk about this in part 2. So yeah, the first topic is open world. As we all know, Star Wars Outlaws is going to be open world. Now, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's a good idea and a great idea for Ubisoft to go for. It is a good route because the thing is that, as we know, Star Wars is a big galaxy. There's a lot to do in the world of Star Wars, Like in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, I liked the open world. I like you could travel from different planets and you didn't have to really follow... obviously there's a story within the game, but you didn't really have to follow it exactly by mission. You could go do one mission on a planet, then do another mission on a planet, and so on and so forth. So I think that's a great idea. But at the same time, what comes with great ideas, there's also some bad stuff. So there were rumors that Star Wars Outlaws was 300 hours. I don't think that's true, and I think that's been confirmed that it's not true, because I think 200 to 300 hours is kind of ridiculous because, yes, it's open world, but that's way too long of a game. You know what I mean? That's more like an open online RPG kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I don't think that makes sense for it to be 300 hours. It doesn't need to be that. And I will be kind of annoyed if Star Wars Outlaws is very short as well, because you're basically abusing the open world criteria just to make a short game, So if it is less than, let's say, 20 hours, for example, then yeah, of course, I don't think it's going to be worth to get or even worth to play, despite maybe the story might be good. But again, Ubisoft, if they're not going to utilize the game properly, then it's going to be one of those things where open world in this game is going to be annoying. Next is the pricing. Now, on the initial release, it's going to be £60 for the normal game. Then it's going to be £90 to £115 for the gold and ultimate edition. Now, this doesn't make any sense because, especially as I said before, if the game is short, why is the price this high? You know what I mean? Now, £60, we all know that's the norm for gaming. We all know some of us think it's expensive or whatever. I do hear that as well. But £115 for an ultimate edition, I was expecting it to at least be between £70 to maybe £80. I think £115 is a lot. And I heard there's an expansion with the ultimate edition, but at the same time, it's like, well, if it's DLC or a part of the story or whatever, why not release that at a later time? Release it a couple months after, saying we've got DLC in 3 months' time, around, let's say, because the game comes out in August. If they said it in November, they're gonna drop a DLC for it. Makes sense. Most people would have finished the game by then anyway. But I don't understand the price. I think this is too much. Of course, are Ubisoft gonna pull out and obviously change up the price? No, they're not. They're gonna keep it the same. And I think it's just kind of silly that it's gonna be that, especially if the game is short. As I said before, this is not gonna be worth it. This already, a lot of people are hating on this game, and obviously me myself, I'm interested to see what it's gonna do. I do think it's gonna be a fun game, but I'm just gonna wait on release until I see the full game and everything like that, because I'm impressed with. Dude, it does look impressive. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm not that excited. Like, if this was Star Wars Eclipse, for example, I'll be going head over heels, But since this is something like Outlaws, I'm just like, it does look impressive. Let's just see on full release, Now, the next thing is that Ubisoft. I am skeptical because I know how Ubisoft can be. And I think I said in the X Defiant video previously that Ubisoft is, one of my favorite game developers, probably is my favorite game developers, all because of the titles they've come with before in the past. But there has been BS in the last maybe 8 to 10 years of Ubisoft, because not showing let's say proper trailers or proper gameplay, things like that, and promotion for games. This is the thing. So I am quite skeptical on how Ubisoft are going to pull this off, because I feel like that if Ubisoft doesn't get this game right, it's a lot of people are going to be looking at Star Wars games quite left, only because this game isn't as up to par with any of the previous Star Wars games. Now, of course, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, they're made by Respawn, so obviously different company. Of course, now we know I think the head developer for Respawn has left with a few people to do his own thing called Giant Skull. So hopefully we get to see what happens with that. But with Outlaws, if this goes bad, Ubisoft, it's going to be another L. It's going to be another L. And the thing is, they're not. I'm not saying they're not going to be able to come back from it, but at the same time, it's like we can't really take Ubisoft seriously. As much as I love the development company and what they've brought in the past, we're now looking at the present, and it's just like, well, when it push comes to shove, you guys haven't lived up to the hype. You know what I mean? There's things like X Defiant. Now, of course, X Defiant is another thing in itself, but there's previous games such as Watch Dogs. I remember the first Watch Dogs 10 years ago, the gameplay trailer that got released, and then what we got on the initial release date was like everybody was pissed off. Despite Watch Dogs being a good game, it was like everybody was pissed off. And then look at what I guess you could say Ghost Recon even now as well has taken a hit. That was a good game in itself as well. So yeah, Ubisoft, they're gonna have to really come with it if they want people to really kind of respect them now, because at this point I can see why a lot of people have not bothered with them at all anymore. You know what I'm saying? Just doing their own thing. I know Assassin's Creed Mirage was a good game. I personally thought it was a good game. Definitely brought back Assassin's Creed in a way. But at the same time, you still got to put your money where your mouth is, basically. Lastly, I know I went into this in the last part, but I kind of wanted to go over it again a bit more, as it took me time to kind of process and whatnot, right? Now, the mocap and the voice actress, obviously Humbly Gonzalez, her face to the game. I don't know why Ubisoft changed it the way they did, unless if Humbly wanted it to happen that way. If Humbly said to the studio, can you change my face? I don't want my actual face to be in the game. Fair enough. But if Ubisoft changed it on their own accord to think, oh yeah, this looks better and whatnot, then it doesn't. Because I'm going to be honest, guys. I even said this in my previous video that it doesn't look the best. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't look the best. But this isn't my main issue or concern. But I understand why a lot of people are vexed with this, because in recent history, as we've seen with Star Wars, there's been a lot of like women-dominated shows and games and stuff like that. Fair enough, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Star Wars is for everybody. Men, women, whoever, right? No matter what race and color. So when we see women, we've seen women in Star Wars before, definitely good looking, still like boss with their gun and whatnot, Padme and obviously Leia, other female characters who are Jedi as well, like Shakti and Ada Sakura. So of course there's definitely women in Star Wars who are badass, right? But also, a lot of people won't play this because it's a woman-led character, things like that. My opinion on that is like, well, listen, whether it's a woman, a man, an alien, whoever the main character is in Star Wars in this game is, just enjoy the game, all right? If it's bad, it's bad. And say your reasons why. Don't be one of these people that don't say their reasons and then expect like, everybody to kind of follow along with you. If you have if you have solid reasons why you don't like this game, then of course everybody can be like, okay, cool. But then you can go back and forth with someone and be like, okay, well, I like it because of this, this, and this. You don't like it because of that. Fair enough. That's what I'm on. I'm not on this whole like, I'm not getting it because it's a woman. Let's be. Come on, guys. Let's just be serious about this. Like, you should be playing the game regardless if you like the content or not. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are thinking like, who's this game for? Basically, well, it's supposed to be for Star Wars fans, and if you're a Star Wars fan, just give it a chance. As I said already, wait on release. But like I said, just wait on release and see what they say. If it is bad, I even said this in part 1. If it's going to be bad, I'm going to rip into it. Strategically, of course. But I'm going to rip into it. Only because I'm a passionate Star Wars fan. So, with that being said, guys, Star Wars Outlaws is coming out August 30th. We've got some time to wait and see what the game is saying. Hopefully, they do some changes before the initial release and whatnot. But yeah, if you did like what I was saying, just don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts as well down below in the comment section. And I'll see you next time. Peace.